Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again. So, yes, I am back. Thank God. So, welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. And like I said, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, Tanya. So, hopefully, everybody's doing well. I know it's been a couple weeks, so we'll see if we get a few more people watching or not, but you never know. I threw everybody's schedules off. Hey, Nicole, good morning. Good afternoon. So, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. Uh, I don't know how many people saw technically the last episode of season three, uh, because unfortunately, with me running over by 4 minutes, screwed up the whole thing. So I couldn't schedule it to go live. I had the only way I could do it. Hey, Dinah. The only way I could do that was to post the link, and then everybody had to click on the link. So who knows? I did enjoy that episode, which is crazy to think that, uh, it was all about cleansing and things like, hey, Rachel. And was I really liked recording that episode because I mean, essentially, it was like doing a podcast where you don't really have an audience paying attention. And if you did see that episode, it was funny because I said it I think a couple times. It was weird to not look over and comment or answer a question or say hi, and so it was kind of fun to it was a weird change for me. I mean, um, I was fortunate enough to be, on, I think it was December, but they came out in January or something. Yeah, something like that. But when I was on the 22, hey, Chris, when I was on the 222 podcast and, we're, recording it and stuff. But at least, there was two other people in the room besides myself. So, there's that kind of trio of, questions and comments and stuff. So, but yeah, I was talking about it last night because we were at the old mill, and it was fun to you know highlight how it's interesting to shift from something live where everybody's paying attention, everybody's watching, and some of like you've done, you've answered, you say hi or good morning, and uh, but then to not have that and then still be able to keep talking for a whole hour, is pretty impressive. Not to pat myself on the back, but I felt like I did for that episode. So if you missed it, you can always scroll back through on the Adam the Black Swamp, Medium page, and then you can find it. It's called Cleansing, which was appropriate at the time, and it really was kind of fun to do. And you know, I'm hoping that at least now that I know, if I ever get close to, if I have to do it again, which there will be times that's going to happen. I know in July for sure I'm going to probably have to record another episode, and at least this time I will watch the clock a lot more diligently because yes, I'm going to probably stop it at like 59 minutes, so that way I even give myself one free minute of not going over, because obviously at 101 it freaks out, which is hilarious. But yeah, so yeah, so again, yeah, if you guys missed it, you can always go back, and just like anything, all the shows are always on my page, so you guys can always go back and check it out. And if you're in a work environment where you can't be watching the video and stuff like that, that's why I try to do the audio only version of it, so it is in like a podcast form. You just don't get to visually see anything. So if I'm just happen to be showing photos or something or video or whatever, then you guys would miss out on it. But it's the point of just being able to still get it out there in multiple formats. So hey, Donna, good morning. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, it's really good to be back. And if I seem a little off or down, I mean, I'm going to do my best to keep raising up my energy for this. I will do my best. It's something I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, because I made sure to try to keep some notes of stuff. So got to get better in season 4 here, so that way I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like shooting from the hip, because that's the whole concept of this morning show in the first place. Is just us to kind of hang out, whether you guys are just sitting there, chilling and drinking your coffees and teas and maybe some breakfast or something like that. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things to we're all hanging out, and it's not supposed to be always like specific, but I've seen that you guys do like when I can kind of hit on something, at least for part of the show. So I going to do that. This one, this week is more just kind of coming back. This is just, season 4 kicking off. So I wanted to just do, the norm for me, which is just kind of sit here and talk and, see, what you guys are up to. Hey, Lindsay, good morning. And see what you guys are up to. But like I said, if I do seem a little bit down or lack thereof energy, I'm okay. you know, I've got like I said, we're gonna hit a few things, and you guys will understand why I may seem a little bit less over the top. If I am over the top, I don't know. You guys can decide for that. the, Judging on how many shows you guys have seen. So, but I do have to put one warning out there for this show, which is hilarious. Um, there is major storms like going to be hitting at any point now. So I would think within the next like 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 tops, that it's going to get nasty. So I'm warning you guys in case the power dumps. There's obviously a chance that could happen because it is some pretty red stuff that's on the way. So obviously, if power fluctuate, we get a power surge or the power goes out, obviously the show's going to dump. So if that happens, I will attempt to try to make it back in there, especially if it's a real quick in and out, power surge. But if by chance it doesn't, I don't get power back right away, or I'm just not able to get in, what I'll do is we'll just figure something out to where I'll kind of maybe, because I got something else today which we'll touch on real quick too, but maybe tomorrow, we'll see. But then again, I know a lot of you have other plans and things like that, and so as much as I want to get this live in just to still officially kick off season 4, uh, you know we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, so in case anything happens crazy, obviously, there's always internet issues, there's lag and stuff like that. So I mean, that's happened before, and if that happens, you guys are used to it. But again, if the power goes out and the screen goes dark, then you'll know something's going on. so so that's the precursor to that, of what may happen. So if I can get back, I'll get back. If I can't, then we'll either reschedule, or I'll just do a pop-up show during the week or something, in between other people's shows and stuff, and at least say hi for a little while. Maybe I'll pull some cards out or something like that. We can do even a prompt to live readings, quick live readings or something. But we'll see. Yeah, so anyway, wanted to, hey Rodney, good morning. And yeah, I wanted to kind of go back to last weekend. I was awesome enough, or privileged and grateful, I guess is really the better word, to and if Lindsay's still watching, she's part of the management team that helps run a group of us, from Weird Weekends, to do events like that, where even though they were the ones that technically were hosting it, but it's we're kind of in that post COVID time frame, and it's obviously not completely gone, but there's enough events going on that we're able to start picking up where we left off several years ago. And yes, yes, Lindsay. And we we got to hang out at the 101 Paracafe. So if you guys have never heard of it, you guys obviously on Facebook. At least I see most of you are on Facebook. So, I mean, if you want to check it out, 101 Paracafe, great location, a lot of history to it. And, we had some fun. I mean, we really did. I mean, wasn't tons of people that showed up. So, it wasn't slammed, wall to wall with people, but it was, like, pockets of it. And, but got to meet got to meet some new people, got a couple readings in, and, but there was a couple of things I wanted to talk about, which was interesting. You guys have heard me say it several times just now. I said it was the 101 Paracafe, which is awesome, and hilariously enough, and I kept my route, so the hotel I stayed at, I kept how they always put the cards in a little folder thing. Well, I kept it on purpose just to prove to you, of what room I had at this at the Randolph hotel. Hey Debbie, good morning. So if you guys look at the clear top, I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. I didn't make that assumption that I was in room 101 and at the 101 Paracafe until Saturday sometime when it finally hit me. I'm like, wow, that's really kind of coincidental. How did that happen? And so I'm thinking, well, there must be some synchronicities going on. We've kind of talked about that stuff before. And I mean, you start seeing repetitive numbers. I haven't seen if Jen's in yet, but Jen and I, and Carmen uh, and even Rachel a little bit too. We've been kind of passing the numbers. We see them whether it's a repetitive like that or just ones that you just constantly keep seeing, but you have no idea what it is. And it's always great to have a source to look up to see what those mean. And let me move this real quickly so I can see because I had to pull that up. So funny enough, and again, I keep saying how funny this is. On my way home, hey Kelly, good morning. On my way home on Sunday, you put the GPS in, and you're following everything, and you occasionally look over, see how how many miles you got left, and and then even there, you can have it to where you see the countdown in minutes. Well, I just happened to look at one point because I was glued. I was like, oh, let's see what's going on because that's what happens on a lot of the numbers is you kind of have this feeling you need to look at the clock or whatever, or you stumble upon it. And yeah, Rachel, I did see that. Yeah, I've seen some last night. There were some 444s, but I was driving home. Like I said, I got that urge. It was like, oh, I really need to look at, how much time is left. Well, sure enough, what did I see? I said an hour and 1 minute left on my drive. I'm like, well, apparently 101 is the theme for the weekend. So what I did for you all, I kind of pulled up, there's, there's a few that have different things, but I just pulled up this one that it made more sense because it really represented, and I didn't want to keep moving my phone around and looking for other things because I use another main one on my phone, but this one I thought was kind of fun to read. So yeah, Kelly, yep, 333, that's a good one. But the 101 number, they say it as positive intuition. So I'm going to read it verbatim. But angel number 101 signifies that life will seem hard at the start, but everything will seem easy and productive within some time. In other words, you should never lose your hope in starting over your dreams. More so, you have to do everything you can start your journey well. Equally, it will take a great time to become someone great in the community. So, hey, Dana, good morning. So even just that, and it goes on a little bit more, but just even that kind of bullet point of it makes sense because it is. There's a lot of things that have been happening with me. You guys have seen the logos. There's up over there, and that's been a huge thing. That's just trying to push forward more. And hey, Rodney, yep, 11:11, and the again, it's just all these little things that are just finally starting to line up, and of course there's so many other things that I've got going on, even in my personal life, that there's going to be some new things, new changes, and that's the hardest thing, with anything is when you ready to make a change, you get yourself kind of like taken back as to the when it seems overwhelming because it can be significant enough to where there's so much that's going to happen and so much that's going to get involved, and um, you're ready for it, but at the same time you kind of freak out. You know what I mean? And it's happens to a lot of us. We all have had moments in our lives where we've had to make changes, or whether we've actually done it or we've just been too scared to do it. And it's kind of one of those things. It really kind of jumps in there, and a lot of us that do a lot of the holistic things, we understand it a lot, whether we always are. We still, we could preach a lot about it, but even for us it's the same thing. It's like you still kind of question things a little bit and you stagger a little bit before you finally just know that you got to do it. And I've certainly been there, and so yeah, it's interesting as it always is. And so it'll be fun to see what happens and see what kind of things are going to be happening, in the near future, actually. So, of course, I'll share what I can share, on some of those changes, and some of them I probably can't. But it's always a thing. And but interesting is this can as I keep going through, because like I said, we'll keep talking about things, and I've seen a few people that noticed my post the other day, and I was interesting to see how everybody, a couple people wrote me personally, was thinking like really bad things were going on, and it wasn't. And I didn't think I wrote it to where it was like the most worst thing ever. But apparently, a couple people thought I was in real rough shape. And I mean, I take my hits just like anything, and it was one of those things where it was I guess I can truthfully say it's been a bad week. you know, I guess there's really no way to sugarcoat it. It's just been a bad week. And yeah, I can still smile through it, and I can still crack some jokes. And it's because it's the only way, as I've talked about many times before. I mean, you can take your short little moment of, woe is me, and I feel horrible, and depressed and down and out, and you know, and it's you take it, you live through it, and you pick yourself back up, whether it's in a few hours or it's the next day, and you just kind of go on with it. And interesting, like I said, it's starting Monday. It's just been one of those things. And this week, at least, through up and through, a little bit last night and into this morning, it's been work stuff. Work has just been one of those things. And like I'm not going to give a ton of details, but just again, this is stuff that can obviously happen in any of your lives as well. And that's why I like to share my things. As much as I want to be positive 24/7, it doesn't always happen, but you certainly keep those intentions out there, and you certainly push for them, because if you live in that world of um, where you're just not, you're happy, or you feel like you got a black cloud over you, it's just going to keep going. And there's not a magic button other than yourself of trying to just keep pushing that positive thinking out of there. And it does, it'll eventually move on, but you have to fight through it. And sometimes when it's a bad week, like it was for me, you know every day it's just, you can't help but just want to bang your head. And even then, you guys, most of you have never ever even thought that I was capable of what I'm about to share. But i I can't remember if it was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. And like I said, most of this is work. And again, hey Katie. And um let's see what you got, Dinah. That's awesome. 4, 5, 6. That's a good one. Chronological order and things like that. Hey Linda, good morning. And I was again, so there was, I mean, like I said, it's hard not to give a lot of details, because I don't want to, if I don't go deep on something, you're not kind of giving it a whole lot, a whole new set of life and energy for it. And it's obviously, I've already moved on from it, so I don't want to go back there, other than just to kind of share a little bit of it. But anyway, it was just a rough thing, and so we wouldn't appreciate the ups if we didn't go through some downs. Yeah, that's a great one, Debbie. Yeah, Rodney. I'm gonna put that up for, because Debbie, that was a great point. I was so frustrated with some situations at work, and a couple times this week, including yesterday after work a little bit, and then Wednesday, you know, I was scheduled to, because I worked earlier on Wednesday, and I was not supposed to, because we're not allowed overtime. It has to go through a crazy amount of approvals to have that done. And so most of the time it's just like you get to, either come in late or you get to leave early, depending on what the schedule's like. And for me, it was like, well, let's just put it at the end of the day, because a lot of times I mean, I'd say at least 95% of the time, the end of our day isn't as bad. The mornings are, more intense, because there's a lot more meetings going on, but not so much at the end. But I, was just, so, because I've been up early, which I always am, and I'm typically at work. Hey, Scott, good morning. And I'm typically at work, pretty much about 5:30, which is a big padded time for me. Uh, it's hard to break that routine. I don't start till 6, but because it's an hour and 10-minute drive to work, you know, you never know what you're going to encounter, whether it's construction or accidents and weather. Luckily we're out of the snow and ice realm, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. But even then, even heavy downpours or something like that, can slow your drive in. But so I just try to pad, at least 15 to 20 minutes. Well, I just haven't broken it to where, I'm still getting to work pretty much about 5:30, 5:35, and which is fine, because then I can kind of get things ready for the day, and typically, because I've been losing weight, which has been going pretty well, I have to say, uh, you know, and that's a real quick side thing. I mean, I'm already down 20 pounds, which is even more amazing that, as hard as I've been trying to work at this, it's working. So I got some more to go, to kind of hit the target that I need to hit. And that'll hopefully curb some other things, going on. But the so what I do is when I get there, I go for a walk, and just, get my energy going and, burn some calories, even though I haven't had anything yet. But it's just that whole thing of just being driven to do something. So, but because I couldn't do it that way, I was working early. So I had to, go and handle some not really complicated, but just, a little bit more higher stress job because it really needed to be done. Hey, Elizabeth. And I, you know, get in there, and I stay, I'm cool and calm, because I'm already awake. But, luckily I fixed, about 95% of the equipment that wasn't working. And, the meeting went on, and there was even a note that went out on Thursday, and they included me saying, hey, thanks to Adam, we've been able to use the equipment every day since then. And so, it was, kind of a cool feeling that, you got recognized, because sometimes we don't, and that's okay too, but we're just used to it. But nice to get recognized. But since I worked earlier, since my shift started earlier, I was supposed to leave. Well, things happened. I got stuck in doing things, and there was just, you get frustrated because you're like, I got to stick around a little bit longer, because you're supposed to leave early. And so sure enough, I left so late, and then yeah, I couldn't help it, but I got in my car, and this is what it was all leading to. I get in my car, and I'm just kind of fuming. I mean, you could probably imagine if you could see me, instead of smiling, just kind of like beet red, and all the windows are up, because it's warm outside. Started the car, and I finally I had to let it go. And so, a certain key choice word came out of my mouth as loud and as hard as I could yell it. And it's probably a good thing that nobody was near the car because it would have been like, are you good? But, it was one of those moments. I just, because of being 3 days already of stuff like that, where it just wasn't working out. And I just finally, I had to let it out somehow. And that was, the only way to do it for me at that point. And I thought, well, that's why I can laugh at it now, because, you got to find what works for you. And it was just one of those moments where I had to yell something. um, and then I'm taking off, and then, luckily, after a little bit, coming home, I, started, doing a little bit better, but, at the same time, it's not fully gone, which is bad to hold on to. And I know that. And, but, as the evening went on, obviously it gets better. You've done everything you could, you're pushing it away, and, you just you gotta fight through it. That's the whole thing, and I have to too. So that's why, it's nice to recommend it. And so then when I get to go through it, I gotta, do what I say too. But it was nice to, realize that at that point was the only thing I could do. And you know, I normally don't want to yell. It's not usually my thing. It's pretty rare for me to do any type of raised voice. I mean, I can have some tone in my voice, but it doesn't mean I'm like, I'm yelling. So it's pretty rare to see me get to that point to unleash. But then that's the thing, is every day, still, even Thursday, there was things that were going on. And yeah, exactly, Debbie. And it's true. There's so many documentations on that, and even science has proven it. Even using the word that I used, is well, not supposedly, it does. It literally scientifically proves that, if you say this word, even though I know a lot of people don't want to use that word, but uh, it does release. I mean, like I said, it did. I mean, it did work because I wasn't. I said it one time, and then I was off and driving home. But it is proven that anything, even just yelling. But obviously, you don't want to take that and direct it towards anybody because that's not right. And counselors and psychologists and stuff like that, that's a big no. I mean, just because you're angry at what you were dealing with doesn't mean you need to project it onto anybody else's, and that's a really bad thing. So in case that might be some of you got to remember the people that you're around didn't create that moment. If you're venting on them, that type of thing, and yelling and screaming at them, it's like that's not right. You know what I mean? Because it is not a good thing. So let's see what you got on, man. Yeah, hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah, honestly, once you do everything you can, it's like all right. Then I guess it's just a vibe until this passes, and try not to let it get to me. Sometimes writing it in journal and get it off my mind helps getting me out there in healthier way. Though I do you yell sometimes if I'm alone or fresh. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's all. That's exactly, yeah, because there's so many different ways to do it. And whether it is like I said, whether it's you gotta, that was the last, I haven't probably yelled like that in a long time. But it just was at that point. It was 3 days of this nonsense, and you just do what you do. And so I had to do it. I debated there in the car for a second. I literally sat there with the car running for probably a good 2 minutes, and I just like do it, go. But yeah, certainly writing it down, and there's other things, whether it's just listening to music or uh, you know, uh, taking a shower is another excellent thing because of the fact that you can kind of use that shower, the water of letting it rinse everything off of you, which is a fantastic thing. And some people do sage and smudge, to kind of cleanse themselves. Again, there's so many different ways to do that, and you just have to find what works for you. But uh uh but like I said, yeah, it just kept continuing. And then even yesterday, I was literally down because we finally had it to where I was going to take the time, take the time off that I've held on to for days. And I it was at 1:45, because I was allowed to start packing up at 2. And so at 1:45, and I got somebody came by, and they had this project coming up, and they needed me there was a good chance I was going to be involved in it, but not fully, but it was more just in case, so I kind of know what's going on if we get called to, help assist in it. So I'm looking at the clock going, "Oh man, this is not good." I said, I just got screwed for the fourth day in a row, or fifth day in a row. And sure enough, I didn't literally put my car into drive until 2:15, and I was supposed to be gone at 2. I'm just like, but I didn't yell. I didn't, I was just like, yeah. I mean, you just let it roll. Just let it roll. And it's because now that with it being 5 days, I'm like, it just doesn't get any better than this. So I mean, it's just uh it's raining, so gonna okay. Um yeah, go for it, Dana. But yeah, and so it's just like golly. And then last night, we were a couple of the people that were there last night, you know, we had a hell of a time last night, and scheduling issues at our old mill, and that created some tension. And you know I can't get into a lot of that, but it just, it's frustrating for everybody that was involved. I mean, everybody. And obviously the tension surely showed that. And it, it's unfortunate that, these things happen in life, and, and you want a good positive resolution in the end of it. And, you know, there is things that we worked out, and so we're, you know, you know there's some resolution, but obviously at the time and stuff. But I mean, I'm grateful that we all were able to sort of talk in the end, and I think were at least smiling and laughing about some stuff. And so at least leaving last night, you didn't feel like, you didn't feel really bad. I mean, still bad, but you didn't feel like really horrible about things. And so, you can't help but apologized to, the team that were there, and you know, the again, the miscommunications, and it's obviously things that are gonna get reported, up the chain, and there has to be, changes, because this can't keep going on. And so it was, no, it's not, Kelly. And so, yeah, it's, like I said, stuff happens. You hate to see when this happens, and then you got to deal with it. And so, like I said, like, hey, Denise, yeah. And we, you know yeah, it's I mean, I'm the type that it's like, it sucks, and I feel for people that way. I mean, I really, um can sympathize, and to sit there, and and even for the people that were there, I think they could see it on my face too, and uh you could see that, the frustration, the disappointment, that, the what happened. And so, yeah, like I said, the hopefully, everybody's gonna get some things tweaked, and have some meetings over this, because it's, hey, Candace, thanks. And so, yeah, yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things you just can't help but, want to bang your head a few times, and just be like, why is this going on? And you know for me, it's like a great, it's just continuing on. And so then, even like, even last night, and into the morning, there was then some other personal things that were going on, and that just, I'm like, so I get literally have gone 6 days with just, craziness, that I'm trying to, like, just muscle through this, and it's hard. you know it's bad when it's one thing to have like one day, and you're, you know okay, today's a bad day, we'll get up, we'll do it again. And then, you get more stuff that happens. And it's, I've said it before, there is a balance of things. You can't have everything perfect all the time. You can't have, um easy. You have to work for things, and you have to, just deal with it. And it sucks. And like I said, I get tired of, when these times come up. And like, for me, being 6 days, and like, here, you know I'm still going to make the best out of today. I still have something, I'm going to share real quickly on. And there is, one more cool thing I'm doing today, which I'm really excited about. So, there's that. So even with my morning maybe not being so great, there's something this afternoon that I'm really, overly excited for. And that's the thing I just got to look for, is you just find the things, whether it's a moment, to, lean on, and just take that as, that's the success, that's the positive for the day. And all the other negative stuff can just go take a hike. And even then, I'm going to do everything I can tomorrow, that, when I wake up, it's just, I'm going to keep pushing for everything to be cool and calm. And if something happens, you roll with it. But if not, you're just gonna fight for it, and get through. So yeah, it's, yeah, it's crazy. And I feel bad, and I do apologize that if I'm repeating myself, or saying too many things, in just different ways. But but like I said, you guys can tell. Like I said, I always wanted this show, on Saturdays, to just be that, where we're just, nothing's truly scripted, and I'm not totally reading things, off the other screen. And I just want to experience it, because we all do. We all have things that we go through, and sometimes we need to talk about it. And I think a lot of you would agree. Uh, you know, I'm not saying I'm brave for bringing up all my issues and stuff, but if we don't talk about it, where are we going to get? How are we going to progress? I mean, we've all know we've dealt with so much over the last couple of years, especially. And you personally can only handle so much. But then, right, and like Katie just says, it helps to talk it out. And even then, to talk with somebody, to share, whether they can truly help you or not. Sometimes it's just that point of where you just get a chance to just talk, and you're like, for me, darn well not to, I'm not, I would never talk to any of you and like dump my problems on you, to where then, uh you feel it. Then that's never going to be the case. I know better than that, because that's not a good thing. um it's one thing to share it, but at the same time, not have you experience or feel what I feel. That's not going to happen, you know. But that's why I like doing this in the mornings. So, and see, Candace said about the eclipse, it could be. Jennifer, yeah, Mercury retrograde is definitely the time to rethink, reconsider, revise, revisit, reevaluate, etc. It's not fun, but these things come up for a reason, right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'll see, Candace. Your rave issues are often sidelined as well as fans talk it out. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, I try to see if I'm gonna if I'm when I do these and if I'm gonna share some stuff, I want to make sure that there's always something positive in the end. That everybody can walk away with something and not just end on a rough note or a negative note, because you guys know I don't want to do anything negative whatsoever. I always want it to be positive because we need it. We need to push it, and like I said, we're all humans. We all make mistakes and deal with things, and we all deal with them differently. You know what I mean? I do hold on to stuff a little bit more than I should have, and I've gotten better over the years. I truly have. I've it's one of those things that I've it was really bad several years ago, and it got to the point where I was really really in a bad state of mind, and I did my best to kind of cover it up, and I did, because the majority of people still to this day have no idea what I dealt with. And I at some point will release that information, um, but when I feel like it's necessary or time for it. But it's just one of those things, I held on to things and I kept it to myself, and I was a bad thing. But but even then there was resolution to it. There was um things that worked out and got me back on track again. And I did reach out, and I did get some be able to talk, and that did help. So there's truth in that matter. But yeah, so I mean, to deal with things, we just gotta keep moving, and because if you stop and you swim in that, it's not a good thing. I Yeah, I would never recommend it. Like I said, like I said before, you guys deal with something, if it happened, like something happens today, it's one thing to just kind of go hang out or be chill and just be lazy today. But tomorrow you got to get up and you got to move forward. You can't go a second day, because you just, it's going to just linger, and you don't want that. So, but, what did I doing well on time? So that's working out. Trying to remember. I don't know. Yeah, and I know what I was going to do, but yeah. So we're, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, I guess. Oh, there you go. I guess I can talk about this afternoon. Obviously, I can't give details. Well, actually, I got two things I wanted to share. I forgot about the other thing. You know, let's do this one first, and I'll talk about what's today. So what I was just talking about earlier. I said, on Wednesday, was a rough day, and I was you know ticked, at stuff for work. And what I didn't realize, that just goes to show you how, you got to push through. And this is a perfect point. I wish I would have said this earlier, but it slipped my mind because I was on the topic already. But I had a client session, and that Wednesday night, and it was nothing, it wasn't readings or anything like that. It was just typical cleanse type of thing. And so what was fascinating about it, yeah, forgetting stuff is my territory, right, Candace? Well, I did put notes down, but even then I noticed I skipped over things. So see, I've got my notes and I still jumped and ran over stuff. So it happens. So yeah, I wanted to make more notes for things, and here it is, I'm not even like reading them line by line, I'm just skipping all over them. But so that's why, so like back to Wednesday, that's why, even with me yelling in the car and frustrated as it was, but I did get it off my back, because I really wanted to uh I really wanted to work with this client, and I really wanted to help them out. And again, I can't share a lot of details, but I will say that because they live in a different state, and so I had to do my remote viewing to them. And what was great about it was that there was things that I of course didn't I hardly knew anything about this person, like pretty much nothing. And which is great because, it's nice when you get to work with somebody and don't have any information. And even for like readings, that's even more important because, nothing, you can't use your mind to sort of start guessing on things, which is, I wouldn't do that anyway. But, there's people out there that give us a bad name and do that stuff. They fish for stuff and then use it. And I hate that. But I didn't know anything. I didn't know any issues and whatnot. But it was neat because, when I do, whether it's a healing and or cleanse, I mean, they're almost similar. They're just little differences, obviously, where, if it's a healing, I'm working on specific, locations or, to help. And then a cleanse is just kind of a top to bottom kind of uh, cleaning, so to speak. And, uh, I always do a scan before I begin anything. And when I was looking through, I was making notes on the side of some areas that stood out to me, and more unusual, the fact that even one of the areas even was like, hey, you need to like, you know, make sure you mention this. And I'm like, oh, okay, which is, my guides were really coming in there saying, yeah, you better tell them. Like, okay, I got it, thanks. And so I go through and I get through the whole, cleanse and everything like that. And obviously when you know I come back to my physical self and regain and get moving again, and then I wait for the client to sort of do the same. And then once they're good to go, I always always follow up instantly. It's like, how are you doing, and you go from there. And so when I explained a lot of the things that I saw, again, no idea, uh pretty much I could say like 99.9% of what I mentioned was an area of issue that they have been experiencing. And so I was like, you know you still do that even though I've been doing this a while. You still kind of get that like, whoa, and you're like, well, that's what I saw. I mean, how could you not like notice it? And so so it was really neat to that, because we still like the validation of stuff because it just, I trust everything I get and they give me, and what I'm seeing and doing. I trust it, and it's not even I don't even concern myself even when it doesn't apply or doesn't seem right. It still doesn't matter to me. It's like it was presented, or I was shown this for a reason. And maybe it's not going to make sense now, but it might later on. So I was, fortunate enough that everything that did pop up, meant something. And so I go through it all and say what I'm seeing, and then they validated stuff and said exactly what's going on in those areas. And and you're like, wow, okay, and so now that it's been several days, the good thing is, and even today I checked in with them, and they're doing great. Uh, they've been having some really good, sleeping well at night, and again, I can't share a lot, obviously, because it's private, but there's just been a lot of positive uh movement forward. So when you look at that, like in again, I had a bad day again, you know what I mean? But I didn't want that. I really wanted that session to be the best I could be, and do it. And yeah, you don't want to be in a negative state to help somebody, because that's not definitely not going to work. You maybe get like 10% out of it, maybe 5%, and that's, you owe it to them to give your best. And so I, you know, was determined to get all that stuff that happened at work behind me, which I did. And I was so ready to go, and ready to make a difference. And so it looks like, it is. And so like I said, that's a great way to look at it. So, even in the same day, you can go through something horrible, but then just to turn it and do something positive, especially for somebody else. Obviously you want to take care of yourself. That's always, priority too. But I knew I could get off my back. I've been through enough stuff in my life. I think I can handle it. Sure. If I didn't have that, I probably would have been sitting on the couch, and just relaxing, you know what I mean? And just taking it easy. But to be able to uh, do that, and made my night, I went to bed on a real positive note because then it gave me some more drive to wake up Thursday and just try to make Thursday work, And it's so it's cool. Like I said, so you can see regardless, you have those bad days, but then at the same time, you can find those moments where you can get that positive, and then that's what you hold on to because you need it. And I hate sitting on the bad stuff, and so Jen, I find that helping and healing others is equally helpful in healing to me. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when every time I'm doing a healing or cleanse, I get to do, essentially I'm doing stuff for myself at the same time. It's not taking away from the session itself, but what it's doing is, you know, I have to be good, I have to be cleansed. So it's nice because sort of have to do myself first before I work with my client. And that means a lot to me because, see, even though I had to mentally prepare for it before the session, but then as the session's going, I'm still working on myself for a brief moment. And luckily, it's not heavy, heavy duty stuff that I'm having to, work on myself. You get a little bit of some dirt on you, so to speak. And, it's like, okay, just a, washcloth type of thing. And you can just wipe it off. And so that's what's great is I can, get that stuff off of me and then focus on my, client at the time. Um, so, but that's a good takeaway for you, all of you. And that's why I think there's that thing. Like I say, I always want to leave you with something. But there it was rough, and then I turned it around, made the best out of it, and then had a great session. And that was awesome. I mean, I went to bed, happy with what I did. And, now a couple days, since, they're still doing great and they're still and seeing improvements. And that's the whole thing is, I always tell people too, I said, if you get, one of my sessions like that I'm looking for a home run out of the park. I want something, I'll take a, 10% increase in your life in whatever might be, happening. I always try to keep it to where let's start small. If we can get and achieve something bigger, well, then we're, as I like to call it, a bonus land. But I don't want to, shoot real low or shoot real high. And then, it doesn't seem like it. Not that I'm not saying I'm not confident in what I'm doing. I've been doing it a while now, including last year with the upgrades, and I'm feeling, really jazzed up about it. But um Dinah, I'll answer that in just a second. But the see, now I lost my thoughts, so I'm just going to answer it. You got me thinking about it now. So Dinah's asking, what exactly is a cleansing and what does it do? So the cleansing, we all daily, can experience things. And I'm talking like negative. I think enough of us has been around you seeing road rage or you seeing people being rude to people. Don't, God forbid, you turn on the news. You know what I mean? And when you're subjected to those negative energies all the time, it starts to, attach to you. Now, granted, we're not talking paranormal stuff, but basically for me and how I see it or view it as is that, from a spiritual standpoint, so not your physical body, but internally, you hold on to that. And so to me, it's like a black tar sludge, molasses kind of, stuff that's just not easy to just wipe away. You know what I mean? It takes some work. And when you have enough of that on you, you end up, you know, slowing down, like physically. You become a little bit more lethargic. You become a little bit more pulled back from things. People think, like, wow, they were all like me. You guys would see me if I was having some issues and you just saw me just kind of sitting here and just babbling and just looking horrible, and just miserable in the face. Okay, you're going to be questioning some things like what's going on. And so there's little signs that you can just notice on people. And then those of us that do, a lot of holistic things, well, we can already feel it in the energy. So we already know something's up, you know. And but yeah, so basic cleansing is I'm going through and I'm trying to clean, well, I shouldn't say try because that's a bad word. I'm actually taking all that stuff off. That's the whole point, is that we can use a good cleansing at least once a year. If you're, like say if you're working some type of like help desk where you're, beaten every day by, rude people, you might need it a little bit more often. But, you know, it's the point of just keeping your spiritual self. And again, those that are religious, it's, it's the same. It applies the same. But to, pull that stuff off there and let you kind of have a clean slate again, it perks you back up. Again, maybe you're having trouble sleeping. That could be an easy symptom of it, where you've just got too much on you. Well, you got to shed all that stuff. So we got to get that off of you. And so there's all kinds of little things, your health might be declining. And again, list is endless on where it could be because it's different for everybody. But yeah, to go through that, it's not like there's anything painful. You might have some sensations that you probably don't expect. But see, I go over those with you, when we whether we sit down in person or if I'm going to do this remotely, because it doesn't matter. In person is really cool, but sometimes the distance of where people are, it makes the best sense to just do it remotely. So I just I got to get that amazing, or the permission to enter their home, and then I basically go right to them and work on them in their home, as long as they're sitting on a couch, laying down, and wherever. But as long as they're chilling for a good 20 to 30 minutes, that's the key. That is the key. So, and yeah, Katie, absolutely, you did this last weekend. Yep. Yeah, it's amazing what that on how you feel after one of those, and that's awesome. um let's see, Jen had something with regard to venting. If someone chooses to allow themselves to take your energy as you're venting it, then it's your choice, responsibility, not yours. So don't hold back or fear of making them take your energy. That's for them to be mindful. Yes, Jen. Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Candace, I will say this week, starting Sunday, I had more people reach out in need. I blame Mercury retrograde with the lunar eclipse, so it's emotionally bad. So many, yeah, yep. But yeah, it's some, getting to do, like I said, it's just something we need to do. We need to kind of wipe that stuff off there, and it helps. You know, I yeah, so like I said, I'm just trying to go through a bunch of thoughts and what I had left to share. So I had one more good one to do, but I guess I should jump in just to kind of point a few things out, because I said I would start doing that. Where is it? July. Okay, I want to talk about one future event that's coming up that if anybody can help, and I don't know offhand. So Jen or Candace, if anybody knows how long this one's lasting for, I remember seeing it one time and I have no clue when it ends. So if one of my other amazing friends can help me real quickly as to when this Mercury retrograde is going to end, to help Kelly out. So in July, for a lot of my Michigan peeps, if you guys are interested, on July 9th at the Wild Wind Farm, there's a basically a holistic festival, and that is going to be pretty much all day Saturday. So if you guys looked up Wild Wind Farm on Facebook, you guys can get some information on that. I'm going to be kind of a key person. Hey, Chris. Yes, cool. I'm going to be, I guess I don't know if I'm the key person or whatever, but I know my name's on the website for it as far as, something featured, but I know what I'm doing, but I'll be doing a little bit of a twofer thing. So at my table, again, this will be like, it's all outdoors type of thing, which is super cool. I'm excited. And I've been talking to, the person that runs it, and another viewer, Carrie. I was thank you, Jen. So Kelly, June 2nd. So got about a little over another week. Or yeah, over a week. The festival, like I said, is all outdoors, and you got all kinds of vendors and things like that. Yep, Andrea. Thank you, Chris. So I'm going to be twofer. So at my table, I'm still going to be doing, like typical readings, and if anybody wants cleanses or healings, that's awesome. And then the main thing I'm going to do to present is music. We haven't, like, I offered up, several different types of music things. So, you guys know I do the Native American flute, and it's all relaxing. So that's something. Now, whether it's, a straight up meditation type of, show where we'll just kind of everybody chill out and I'll just play and everybody kind of goes on their little meditation and journey. I made We may be doing like more of like a history type of show, which is fun too. That's a little bit longer of a concert performance type of thing because I it's usually a good 90 minutes or so with a break in there. But again, we're just trying to see what'll fit perfectly for that festival. So again, wherever we do is, I mean, I'm in. So that's why, I know some people are set, have dead, they're dead set on a certain, their whatever they do. I'm flexible about it because I'll adjust to whatever makes sense. And so I presented enough, ways to do the music. And so I'm down for either one. So, but yeah, and then once we get closer, that'll all be figured out and stuff. But so that's going to be happening on July 9th at the Wildwind Farm. So if you guys are interested in going up there, God, I can't even remember I've never heard of the town before, but it's up there a little ways. I know it's like 4 or 5 hours from me from the Toledo area, so it is a little bit of a little bit of a hike. So but I know a lot of people that live at least more up in the middle of the state can get there, a little bit more quicker. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. It's gonna be a good time, and we're gonna have a good time. So, well, thanks, Chris. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have fun regardless. I mean, like I said, it's it's I love that stuff, and I get to share it, and I get a lot out of it too. It's not really work in a way, other than just hauling everything and then setting everything up. That's probably the real work. But performing and playing, I get just as much out of it as everybody else, and especially like when it's a meditation type of thing. I'm just blown away by how I feel afterwards. I'm usually real thirsty. That's probably about the first thing I notice. But other than that, I mean, I feel great. I'm on cloud nine, and a lot of songs will that I create on the spot will connect with me, and they'll really resonate, and I'll forget. Like I'll start the song and I'll like black out in a way. I know what's going on. I'm coherent, but I basically black out to where I just am so in the moment that I just don't really pay attention. And it's always I try to keep the songs anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what the flute's telling me it needs to happen at that point. And when it's like a 5 minute song, it's like it felt like 60 seconds at tops. And so like I'll kind of always peek at a clock just to kind of give an idea of where I'm at, and not to run too far over. Not that anybody would complain if I'm running over, but I kind of just gauge so that way we stay on a schedule. But I look over and I'm like, oh my god, it's 5 minutes. I'm like, it felt like 60 seconds. I felt like I was just doodling around. So that's always kind of fun. So yeah, that's cool. Let's see. Oh, no worries, Candace. Well, I I know they do things so during the warmer months they do stuff it's every second weekend on Saturdays. So that event is always going on. That was the best one that worked for me scheduling wise, due to it being like the second Saturday of every month. So doesn't mean that then next year, in 23, I think there's a good chance I'll be back, but I will wait and let everybody decide that for themselves. I'm not gonna pat myself on the back. I mean, a lot of what I can do, but so real quickly before I end up, because we're pretty much out of time, and again, I can't share a lot of details, but something that's going to be going on this afternoon that I'm really excited about, and I get to do a reading for a family. What I can say is the person that passed away is coming up on their anniversary of when they passed. And so I'm really, really excited to do this. And, I'm not one to kind of jump at those things as far as like, hey, I'm a medium, you want me to do a reading? I don't do that. I kind of let people just, if they want it, then they'll ask, and that's kind of the philosophy I've been at. And I sort of hinted around it enough with them, and they thought about it, and thought it would be a good idea. So I'm super excited because the person that passed came through yesterday. That's how eager they were, and so I knew it's not going to be a problem. bringing them in when we all sit down. So I'm super excited to be able to do this afternoon, and I can't wait to share the messages, including whatever else comes up during the session with them. So I'm excited. I'm excited. So yeah, we're doing great. We're at 10:31. So we are back on schedule as far as the shows go. So really not until July that thanks, Candace. So yeah, I'm gonna be on next week, so we're gonna do the Saturday show. After that, there really isn't a morning that I see until July 9th where I'm gonna, possibly have to, record a show for that. So we're in good shape. I shouldn't be missing anything for a little while. So you guys will have to put up with me for, every Saturday again. So I hope that works out. So thanks, Candace. I appreciate you. And thank you for sharing. Yeah. So let's figure this out. Next week, I will make sure to have a topic. Like I said, usually about 10 o'clock is when I kind of hit you guys with the topic. So I kind of banter for 30 minutes and share what's happening, and then hit you with the last half hour of the show with a topic. So I will have a topic, and I think we're gonna see how schedules are working out. Like I said, I'm not known for trying to bring in a lot of guests, but sometimes it's nice to have somebody on once in a while. So I'm looking at a few people to have on, just like, again, it's not the norm for me, but yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun to break it up, even once in a while or once a season or whatever, to have one person on and stuff. So we'll see. But other than that, yeah, let's keep pushing through the day, everybody. Keep your heads up, stay positive, find the moment or create that moment to put that smile on your face or to make you feel good inside. So that way, when you go to bed tonight, you'd be like, you know what? Wasn't great, but I found something that made me happy, or I felt good about, and you'll wake up and start your day again tomorrow. So okay, all right. So I'm seeing a lot of good days, great days, good. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, I'm out of here. We'll be back next week, and I will let you guys know what I'm up to. So yes, thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you for everything. I can't wait to see you guys again soon. And I'm going to try to do some posts this week. So I'm going to get back on that rhythm again of trying to get some out there, every few days or so. And, and even then, maybe I'm going to start trying to get some of those pop-up shows back during the week too. Quick read shows and things like that. I think I'm ready for a card one, to be honest with you. So maybe we'll get a card one scheduled here. So, okay. All right. Be safe out there. I know there's a lot of weather today for a lot of us in the Midwest. I know it's starting to roll through. I haven't seemed to be holding okay so far for me. I haven't heard any thunder yet, but so if you are in any zones of getting hit, be careful, be safe, and I will see you guys next week. All right, thank you so much. You've been watching the Mid Morning Medium Chat Show with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you again for being here. All my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. I will see you again soon. All right. Bye.